hosting it. I'm joined by Selena Sykes from our sports desk. So that there was already this joint bid by Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. Now that is the sole bid, if I understand correctly, and added to it a couple of matches in South America.
That's right. A lot going on, Francois. It has to be said. For some, it may be no surprise, but Morocco, Spain and Portugal have been said that they're the sole bid left now. This is because, I'll come back to this later on, some sort of agreement that has been made among the other host bidders. It's the first time that Morocco and Portugal will be hosting a World Cup, so a historic moment for them both, particularly for Morocco. They'll become, if this is ratified next year, the second African nation after South Africa in 2010 to host the World Cup. Portugal, too, have never hosted. Obviously, a big moment for Morocco. They've just also been awarded recently hosting rights for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. King Mohammed has said he's welcomed FIFA's decision. FIFA was supposed to announce the hosts next year, but they've brought this forward. What is a surprise is that you said that Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay will be hosting the opening matches. This is to mark the World Cup's centenary. The three countries were planning themselves, of course, of putting a bid forward, a joint bid too, but they have agreed, it seems, to step aside and leave Morocco, Spain and Portugal to be the sole bid for the 2030 World Cup. 100 years ago, the first World Cup took place in Uruguay, and it was the hosts who won it back then. So this feeds all into this decision to have these three countries host the opening games to mark this centenary of the World Cup. This will be the first time ever that a World Cup will be staged across three continents. That's Europe, Africa and South America, not to mention that will be in 6 countries. FIFA say that the opening game will be played at the Estadio Centenario in Uruguay. This is where the opening game kicked off will be 100 years ago, back in 1930. This seems to be the trend now, it has to be said, of getting more countries to host the World Cup. And why is this, Francois? Because for the next one in the US, in Mexico and in Canada, we'll see the format expanded to 48 countries. I think it's safe to say that few countries have enough stadiums to put up all these matches. So I think this is a trend we're going to be seeing more and more now. Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, says that in a divided world, FIFA is providing unity and football is uniting. I think a few people will pose some questions about FIFA's carbon footprint in all of this. The decision is yet to be ratified. They have to wait until next year's FIFA Congress for this to be ratified. But this seems to be all part of a general move of seeing the tournament in other continents away from the traditional footballing continents of Europe and South America.
So